Being stuck is a choice. This episode is all about mindset shift. And where is this coming from? I have been doing so many keynotes and workshops in the last 2 months, and I always run into one or two people within those presentations who say, Anne, this won't work. Anne, my circumstances won't allow any of this to happen. I can't create a culture shift. I can't change the people around me. I can't change my circumstances. And I am here to tell you today that that is a choice, that there are actions you can take. There are things within your control, and that is exactly what we're getting into today. I am going to give you 3 different action steps that you can take to start to positively shift that mindset, own your actions, and create success in your life. I'm excited for this episode for you. Go ahead and get into it. Welcome back to episode 34 of What If It Works. We are on a new day starting now. We will be launching episodes on Wednesday morning instead of Tuesday morning. This just fits in better with my own personal coaching schedule. So thank you for being flexible and thank you for being here. Make sure you have subscribed to this podcast so that it is ready for you when the podcast launches each week. Hit that subscribe button, share this with your friends, because we are here to create change and create cultures where you and everyone around you can thrive. Back in 2015, I realized I wanted to make a change with my body physically, and I started working out, bought into a program with my best friend who coached me along. And at the beginning, I just remember for so many weeks, I was frustrated. I felt like I was putting in the work and I was eating the food that I was supposed to be eating, and I was doing some of the exercises, and I was pretty consistent, but not super consistent. And I just wasn't seeing results. And I kept saying things like, well, I just don't have time, or I wasn't able to eat what I needed to eat today because I was too busy. And at that time I was teaching, and it was just a lot, and it was super frustrating. And I just remember my best friend being like, I hear you, but what are we doing about it? What are we doing about it? What are we doing about it? And we were able to come up with a plan. I was able to be consistent. She was holding me accountable. I was checking in each day with a group thread. And lo and behold, a couple weeks later, all of a sudden I start seeing results. And they were big results. I ended up just really proud of myself for putting in the work and getting the results that I wanted. Why do I tell you this story? It's because before I started working out, I was giving out every excuse on why working out wasn't going to work out. Why exercise was not the answer. Why changing my diet was not going to work. And I had the excuses, friends. I had them all. And I did have a very busy life. And I did have 2 kids. And I did have a job on top of a job on top of a job. And those were all legit excuses. They were all legit situations, I should say. However, when I shifted my mindset that I needed to do this, I wanted to do this, I wanted to see the results that I said I wanted, guess what happened to those roadblocks and those hurdles and those challenges? I overcame them. I changed my schedule so I could get my workout in. I changed when I ate so I could get a full meal in. I changed the way that I carried water with me all the time so I could drink water. I made tweaks to my schedule and my life so that I could meet my goals. Now, what does this have to do with workplace culture? Everything. When our mind is stuck that things won't change, there are outside circumstances and hurdles and roadblocks that you tell yourself you cannot get over, you will not take action. And that is why it is so important that first and foremost, you have to work on your mindset. You have to shift your mindset in order to shift your culture and shift your life and shift your relationships and be happier. You really need to take intentional action. And so today I'm going to give you a couple of ideas on how you can slowly but consistently start to shift your mindset so that you can see the results you want. And that might look like enjoying your job, being excited to wake up and go to work, being excited to connect with people over the lunch hour, feeling purposeful in the work you do, feeling passionate about the clients that you help. You can get there. If you're not there, it's going to take some small but mighty intentional actions to get you that change that you know you want and need in order to thrive. So let's set you up for success, give you a couple of ideas to get your mindset where it needs to go, because I do not want you being stuck any longer. I want you feeling fulfilled. I want you seeking your purpose. I want you feeling passionate. I want you supporting other people around you. And I want you to smile walking into your job, because there is a reason you are there. And when you step into the leader you know you're meant to be, and you show up intentionally and take these actions and stay consistent, it is going to be life-changing. So let's get you there. I recently was doing a keynote address, and within my presentation, I had talked about problem solving. And I allowed the tables to have a few minutes to problem solve some of their greatest challenges that bring them the most stress. And I had a woman say to me, there is absolutely nothing I can do to reduce any of the stress that I have at work. And honestly, I wanted to respond to her with, you're right, you can't. Because, why would I say that? Her mindset is stuck, that there are no actions she can take to reduce the stress in her life. And when you truly believe there is nothing you can do and there is no way this will work, it won't work, because you and your brain are so great at getting the results you expect. So if you expect to get no results, you won't get any. You won't find them. You won't see them. You'll miss them. When you expect that what you do will create momentum and positivity and shift your culture, you will start to see the small changes, because your brain is seeking that information. And so I felt so bad standing at this table speaking to this woman who was just so blocked. Her mind was blocked that there was nothing anyone could do to reduce her stress. And I am here to tell you, if you are listening to this today and you're like, Anne, I'm that woman, I'm that man, and I don't see a way out, there is a way out. But it's got to start with you believing that when you take action, there will be equal action on the other side that will come back. It will be the results that you want. It might not happen overnight. As I said, working out for 3 weeks straight produced no result for me. It was week 4 and week 5 when I finally started seeing results. And so that consistency, that attack, that willingness to stay focused on the actions you can take to truly transform your culture is going to be imperative. And I know you can do it. I know it. I would not be utilizing this platform if I did not believe you yourself, you, the person listening to this right now, can change their life, can grow, can create thriving cultures around them. If I thought this was only for people in management, I would not be talking to you right now. I would be making my message clear that this is only for people in management. But I don't believe that. I believe that every person in any circumstance can take what they have and go after and get the results that they want. That's my soapbox, and I'm on it, and I'm here to tell you it can happen, but it takes action. So what are a few of these actions that you can take to truly get moving? The Guide Culture, which is a business that I used to be involved with, they talk about the flywheel effect, and it means you get going and you get going and you get going, and pretty soon that wheel is flying on its own because of the momentum you created. So let's get started creating a little bit of momentum so that you can take off and see the changes that you want to see. I recently switched up the last few slides of my impact presentation for my big events like keynotes and talking to entire companies. And the last few slides are all about what you can control and what you can't control. And so I am going to highly recommend this practice for anyone who is feeling kind of like things are happening to you. Not things are happening for you, things are happening to you. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to get a piece of paper out and you're going to make a line down the middle. And on the left, you're going to write things I can control. And on the right, things I can't control. And then you are going to list. And if you are having a specific situation that is driving you crazy, just think about that situation specifically. That person that is driving you nuts, just think about them and the situation around them and just write about that. If you are feeling stuck in life, I want you to know that there is a way out. There is a way out, and it might feel overwhelming. You don't know what you should be doing. You don't like what you're doing. You don't like who you are. You don't like how other people see you. That's okay to be there. It's okay. It's happened to a lot of us. I always paint the picture of 2018 and 2019 where I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I stepped out of the classroom. I stepped into a new job. And even though I loved the work I did for that organization, I didn't love who I was being at home and who I was being for myself. And I needed to sit in that for a minute. And I'm so grateful I allowed myself to be sad and to be purposeless, because in that purposeless feeling, I realized I needed purpose and I wanted to be doing something bigger than what I was doing. And that is what's prompted me to do what I do today. So if you are sitting in that spot where you feel like you do not have purpose, you don't know what your passion is, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, that's okay. Make a list. What can you control and what can you not control? And then after you write this list, I want you to pause, walk away, maybe get something to eat, maybe get some rest. Either way, come back to the list. And you probably will find that you can move a few more things over from the can't control column into the can control column. Because you might say things like, I can't control my boss, which is true. You can't control your boss. I'm so sorry to tell you, but you can't. What you can control is what you think about your boss. What you can control is how you communicate with your boss. What you can control is the boundaries you create around the actions that your boss takes. These are things you can control. And so make that list. What can you control and what can't you? And in the end, this is going to boil down to actions you can take. It's going to boil down to beliefs you can have in the can control list. You're going to think about words that you can use. That's what you can control. I want you to be thinking about your free time. What can you control in your free time? Can you be going for walks? Can you be jumping on the phone and connecting with a friend who fills you up? Can you get out in nature? Can you go to your favorite coffee shop when you're stressed? Can you go exercise at the rec center? What can you control? Now, I know at some point in my life I was in the phase where I worked really hard and then I came home and I sat around. But if you would have asked me if I had time to work out or I had time to get healthy, I would have told you I have no time. But if I had to do this list and I over on the can't control problem, I don't know why I keep saying that, over on the can't control column, there it is. If I wrote too busy, that's a choice. What can I control about my schedule? Now, maybe my schedule is full. At one point in my life, I was teaching, I was running an at-home business, and I was a dance coach. And you're right. On Mondays, I did not have control over my calendar, over my schedule. That's okay. What was I doing at dance? I was actively working out that whole 5 hours of practice, right? And so what can I do on Tuesday when it's not a dance day? Maybe that's when I slid in a workout. Or maybe that's when I went for a walk with a friend. Or maybe that's when I called my bestie on my drive, right? So what can you control? And what is out of your control that you need to literally just let go of? Because if it's not within your control, there's no reason to worry about it. Give this activity a try. If you are feeling pulled to finish this list, take a picture of it and send it to me. I would absolutely love to celebrate you taking this action because honestly, this is where it starts. You deciding what is within your control and what is not within your control and acting and doing what is within your control and not worrying about what is not. So you can send that via email, impact@annvote.com, or you can send it to me over on Instagram at annvote. That's ANNVOTE. All right, this next one comes from inspiration from a podcast I listened to over a year ago, and I wish I could remember who said it and what the episode was so I could get you there. But basically, the idea was thinking about the future and telling yourself what's going to happen in the future is an insane action. And if a friend sat down with you and said to you, oh my gosh, you know what? My child is going into middle school next year. And do you know what's going to happen? My kid is going to get bullied every single day. Kids are going to make fun of him for his hair. They're going to make fun of the way he talks. They're going to make fun of the way he dresses. And then my child is going to need therapy because of all this bullying. And then the teachers, they're so busy, they're not even going to catch the bullying that's going on. And you know what? Because of that, my kid is going to go into deep depression. You would look at this person and be like, are you crazy? How do you know that's going to happen? There's no way to know that's going to happen, right? Put yourself in this situation. What about your future are you just kind of drawing up in your brain that this is how it's going to be? Yet we never, or at least at this point in time, are never going to know what's going to happen in the future. We cannot tell the future, so why are we making up stories in our heads and believing they will come true in that exact way? How many of you have had a situation where you told yourself the whole time that this event coming up is going to go a certain way and then it completely doesn't go that way, right? I was so nervous to fly across the ocean to go to South Korea a few years ago. Back in 2019, a good friend of mine and I flew to South Korea to go see other good friends. And the month leading up to me flying, all of a sudden it hit me. Oh my gosh, what if something happens to me? My kids will be without a mom. And I cried for days. I had moments throughout the day leading up where all of a sudden I would just burst into tears. I wrote letters to both of my kids and my husband. I had so much anxiety over that trip. And then I got on that plane. I cried my eyes out down to my connecting flight to meet up with my friend. I found her and we just had to breathe together, and we got over there and we got to Seoul. We had a great time. All of my anxiety went away. We had an incredible time, a once-in-a-lifetime trip. And then I wasn't even that anxious on my way back. Was a little nervous. Obviously, you're flying, 17 hours or something crazy. And I got home, and it was like, oh my gosh, I spent 30 days, maybe even 30 plus days, worrying about what was going to happen to my kids when they didn't have a mom anymore because of that trip. How crazy is that? That we are making up stories that we can't even, there's no way that we can know the future. So this podcast episode I was listening to had talked about like anxiety over future events. It's the most ridiculous thing you can do, because there is absolutely no way that you can control what happens. And even if you think it's going to turn out bad, and it does turn out bad, it still didn't turn out exactly how you played it out in your head. And so putting time and energy and worry and anxiousness about the future just really isn't going to serve you. So why do I tell you that story when I talk about shifting your mindset? If you are telling yourself stories about how your behavior, your actions that you take is going to produce a negative result, that's ridiculous. You don't know what type of effect, positive or negative, that your actions are going to have. And so creating a negative storyline is not going to serve you, and it's not going to serve the people you work with. So how can you create a more positive storyline? Well, first off, just stop focusing on the future and start focusing on the present. Really focus on what you can do, and like I just said, what you can control. Now, what's an action you can take? This is definitely a journaling type of experience that I'm going to suggest. Get out that journal. Get out a random piece of paper. In the way that you can do this, you don't even need to look back at it in the future. You are going to write down what is kind of coming up for you that is something you are anxious about in the future. And instead of writing down all the things that could happen, you're simply going to write down all of the positive things that will come out of you attending this event. All of the positive things that could come out of you having a conversation with someone you're struggling with. All of the positive things that can come out of you going to work tomorrow. That's it. That's what you're going to focus on. And I know some of you who may be a little more pessimistic are going to say to me, Anne, that's not going to solve it. That's not going to change it. And you're right. It's not going to change the outcome because we don't know what the outcome is going to be. What it will change is your attitude going into events. Get out that journal. Write down what about your life is stressing you out when you think about the future. Is it that you don't want to be in this job for the next 10 years? Okay, why not? What is good that comes out of you going to work? Now, I would also, if that was the situation you decided to write down, what can you control? What can you do about it, right? And then what's the good that's coming out of you staying in this job? Maybe you're only 10 years away from retirement and you're like, man, I know I don't love my job, but if I stick with it for 10 more years, look at the benefits. And then you can write down what are some things you can control to enjoy your job more. What are some boundaries you need to set up? What are some actions you need to take? What are some beliefs you need to have? What are some conversations you need to pursue so that you can have a more enjoyable work experience, if that's what it is? So stop stressing about the future that we can't control and start writing down all of the benefits of an event or the benefits of a person in your life so that you can have an attitude and a mindset focused on the positive. This last one I've talked a little bit about, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the why. So there is a practice that some of you are going to scoff at, and I hear you thinking this is not legit, and I get that. However, there is so much research on it now that I can refute you with a ton of research. So here we go. If you are finding yourself in a state of being negative and stuck and feeling like other things are happening to you, I want you to try the 3 good things exercise. So this is writing down 3 good things. Now, there is insane benefits of doing this before bed. Literally, it can create better sleep patterns for you. So if sleep is something you struggle with, here it is. 3 good things. All you do is write it down. Now, there is some science that suggests just thinking about it can be enough, but most of the research shows writing it down makes it go from your brain. Physically writing it down helps your brain now not just think about it, but also see it as you're writing it. And so I really, really encourage you to get a small notepad. Could be a Post-it, could be a journal, could be just a little notebook. 3 good things. This activity was shown to reduce stress, increase the amount and the quality of your sleep, and improve physical and mental health. I hope you hear me when I say simply writing down 3 good things from the day, friends. Not 3 things out in the world you're thankful for. 3 things from today that you are grateful for, and writing them down. Now, I want to expand on this. I just read this additional piece to this exercise that I think is mind-blowing. Not only are you going to write down what you're grateful for, but you're going to write down why that happened. So if you're grateful that your husband bought the groceries, why did that happen? Did you ask him to buy the groceries? Did he recognize you needed groceries? Why did that happen? If you are grateful for someone in the office bringing you a cup of coffee, why did that happen? Because you brought them a cup of coffee the day before. Why is this so important? Because you're focusing on actions that led to the reaction of you being grateful. And now we're programming our brain to take actions that we will be grateful for later. I love this one so much. So write down the 3 things you're grateful for, and then make a little note of why that happened. And I'm going to tell you, I think 8 times out of 10, it's going to be because you made it happen. Because you are doing things each and every day for your own benefit that come back and positively impact you. But if you're not focused on it and you're not taking the time to recognize it, it's almost like it's not happening. But I also want to see you take action. Write down these 3 things that you found that you were grateful for today. Put the why they happened on there, and just focus your mind and watch how you start to shift. Again, this can help reduce anxiety, reduce stress, reduce depression, increase or boost your mood, increase your sleep quality. This is going to be something that can truly start to kick off that momentum, and you are going to see a huge shift in your mindset if you consistently go after this exercise. I cannot wait to hear about the results you see. If you are feeling stuck, or you are feeling purposeless, or you are feeling a lack of passion, what is it you want? More purpose, more passion, and to feel momentum. And so pick one of these 3 activities, or pick them all. But what if they work? What if they work and you 2 weeks from now, a month from now, before this summer even hits, you are feeling fueled with gratitude and energy. You're seeing momentum around you. You're seeing positive relationships take shape because of the intentional actions you consistently put forward. How is that going to feel? How are you going to feel? How are others going to feel because you took that action? Don't stay stuck. That is a choice. There is a way for you to get out. And if you've listened to this whole episode and you are fighting back tears and you're fighting back frustration, and maybe you've been yelling at me while you've been listening to this podcast, I need you to reach out. impact@anvote.com. It is okay for you to say, Ann, I'm stuck. It is not okay for you to stay there. Let's have a conversation. I will give you a life coach session free of charge to help you get moving, because that is what I want for you, and that is why I do what I do. It's because I know there's a way out. I've felt it. I've seen it. I've gone all in on my actions, and I am reaping the benefits of that now. But there was a moment when I didn't believe this could even be happening to me. So I know where you're at, but I don't want you to stay there. So please, please, please reach out. Some of you know me personally. Send me a text, send me an email, send me a message on social media. Just don't stay there. Okay? Here for you. And again, what if it works? What if you reach out and we make a plan and you get going and everything around you starts to shift positively? That's what you want. You can do it. I am so grateful you were here today. I am so grateful you are finishing this episode. And I hope you are feeling empowered and inspired to go take action. Activity number 1 was that what you can control and what you can't control list. Make 2 columns and fill them in. And then go take action on what you can control. Number 2 was slow down the anxiety train when anxiety hits about future events. Write out that event and talk about all the positives that could come out of that event or come out of you just attending that event. Just having that conversation. Just getting in that workout. If you're having anxiety over that, whatever it is, stop the train, hit the reset button, move your mindset into that positive space, and take action in that direction. And then number 3, start that 3 good things list. Simply 3 good things from the day and why they happened. And one of them might even be, I'm grateful that the sun is shining. And why did that happen? Because there were no clouds today, right? Because every day the sun comes up, right? It's okay if it's vague. You just need to be thinking about what actions are leading to your reaction of gratitude. Here for you always, always wanting to support you on your journey as I am on this growth journey right alongside you. So grateful that you are here and so grateful that you are taking action to shift your environment and shift your culture and positively create change. If you have not left a review for this podcast, I would kindly ask that you do that, and know that it will bring me so much gratitude to know that you are listening and what you think of this podcast. It helps others find the podcast, other leaders learn more and take action, and therefore changing cultures all over the globe.